Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun little videos here on YouTube. Today, we're going to be talking about Terraria and Tmodloader, and basically what the difference between the two are. I've noticed that in my previous video where I explained how to install mods on Terraria. Lots of questions came in, actually thousands upon thousands of questions, people just asking different stuff. So I think going forward, I'm actually going to start making a few more Terraria videos just to kind of, hopefully fill the void and make it a little bit less, of trouble for you guys to actually figure out how to install mods in Terraria. Now, what you need to make sure that you do is install Terraria first. Of course, if you don't own Terraria, you cannot access Tmodloader. So when you have Terraria finally installed, you obviously just open up Terraria, and then you can kind of go from there. Now, if you load up into the game, well, guess what? It's going to give you the decent normal read logic, logo and all that stuff, and you're going to log into the game pretty quick with all your stuff, including the workshop, which you can then basically do some things. Like, it's not going to really do much, but it's going to tell you use resource packs, blah, 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 and there's nothing here because it's just a normal game. So in order to get yourself the true Steam Workshop, well, guess what you need to do from there? You need to go ahead and access, oh, you know what, let me just make sure that my Terraria is a little bit not so zoomed out. Probably should have done this beforehand, but that's okay. There we go. Now it doesn't look so crazy. Okay, let's do this one more time. So yes, when you go through here, you got to make sure that it looks like this. And trust me, when I load into Tmodloader, which is normally how I always do on OBS, that's why it looks a little bit, all over the map. But anyways, the workshop here does not do anything. So that's how you know you're a normal Terraria, okay? Other than that, it says version 1.4.4.9. So if you go to Terraria's, wiki and all that stuff, it's going to tell you the current version of Terraria. Now, when you exit out of there and you finally open up and load up Tmodloader, which is very small, about the same, size as Terraria. Anyways, it's going to come up with like a command prompt window, blah, 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 launching, all that jazz. And then eventually it's going to finally go in. And when you finally get into it, you might not even be in full screen mode. Now, my game is not in full screen mode. It has a bunch of text at the very top. And now when I'm logged in, it says it finally updated some mods. And these are the following mods that it updated. So if you already have this available, you're going to, find out the easy way, because it's obviously going to showcase that it's updated it. And let's just imagine that you don't. So I'm going to select install dependencies just because. Basically, I'll explain it later. Let's just ignore this part right now. But, at least you can kind of understand that now I'm loaded up Tmodloader, because as it says Tmodloader right there. Now, in a previous video, I showcased how to install mods, but I want to show the difference between regular Terraria versus Tmodloader so you can completely understand, why it's important to kind of know the difference. Now, if you want to play original Terraria, you don't want to mod anything, stick to Terraria. Ignore Tmodloader entirely. Now, you can still jump into Tmodloader and still do your normal stuff. You just have to be wary that, of course, if you install certain mods, you might end up encountering some bugs. Now, most mods on the workshop are pretty foolproof, so you don't really have to worry about them too much. But just be a little bit cautious that sometimes you end up, for example, here it says downloading, and it's just trying to get this working. Absolute Aquarium Utilities mod seems to be stuck. I don't know if it's stuck on downloading or what it's doing, but sometimes this sort of thing does happen. You got to give it a few minutes there, and eventually it does go in. So just remember that you can still use Tmodloader for regular Terraria, but of course it would be modded at that point, because you're probably going to be adding some fun stuff, whether it's just cosmetics or anything like that. But regardless, okay, I'm going to exit out of here because this happens every now and then with Tmodloader, and I'm going to go back in. It's going to pop up the window one more time. This time it's probably going to go in a little bit quicker just because it's going to. And of course, we're going to jump back in. And this time I'm going to click continue anyways. Now, sometimes with Tmodloader, you're going to encounter those errors, and it happens, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And now it's going to load all the stuff, calamity, blah, 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 and all that jazz. Now, in the bottom left corner, you see where it says Tmodloader version, whatever, Terraria version 1.4.9. That means that it's up to date, ready to go. Tmodloader is prepared. Now, when you're using Tmodloader, it's very important to realize that some of the mods that you have are not fully functional for the current version of Tmodloader. So what that means is that, let's just say you want to play like Calamity, which is one of the highest ones out there. Well, Calamity might be available, but it might not be available for the most recent version of Terraria. So if Terraria comes out with an anniversary update or whatever they decide to come out with soon, well, that does not necessarily mean that that mod is going to be ready for it, which means you still have to play with whatever the mod is basically currently at. And that's something that when you go to workshop, now it says manage mods, develop mods, download mods, mod packs, import worlds. So click on download mods. It's going to showcase every mod that's on here, and you can just type in whatever you want. So if I want to type in Calamity, for example, it's going to say that the Calamity mod is right here, and then you scroll through and do all your stuff. So that's how you know that you're in Tmodloader. Now, what would I recommend between the two? Well, it's entirely up to you, right? If you want to keep it vanilla, you don't want to get too spicy, then keep it with regular Terraria. If you want to experiment with mods, focus on Tmodloader, and just remember that obviously not everything is foolproof. And of course, I would usually recommend sticking, just playing around with it a little bit and kind of get used to it. As I just told you, I have borderless window enabled, go full screen. There we go. And then anyways, play around with the Tmodloader settings. Like you can see all this cool stuff that you can do in here. There's literally everything that you would ever want to do in Terraria that is included in Tmod. So that's why so many people play with it. Now, it's not necessary that you have to, but of course, you do you. It's entirely up to you, right? So just have fun with it. Go out there, experiment Tmodloader, experiment Terraria. In the next few videos, I'm going to showcase even more in-depth stuff on how to install certain mods. And yeah, we'll go from there. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.